Hi, I'm Elizabeth.
And I'm Cindy.
And we're here with another Feeding Frenzy for A Course in Weight Loss. And we are on lesson number 15.
That's right. Exit the alone zone.
Can you do that?
What? Exit the alone zone?
That's a comfortable place for you.
It is a very comfortable place for me. I like my alone time. I like being alone. I enjoy my own company.
Mm-hmm.
You know? I am an introvert, and I admit that. That doesn't mean I don't like being around other people, though. I don't like being in crowds as much as I prefer one-on-one or very small groups.
Yeah.
But I don't feel like I isolate to eat, or so that I can hide my eating, or
No, you don't do that.
I will admit I isolate when I get hurt or mad or sad, or because I don't like to be around others when I cry or when I'm expressing that emotion.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't see anything wrong with that. Maybe I should, but I don't do it a long time. It's not like I go away for days or weeks. It's just maybe an hour or so. Just to. I don't want to bring other people down, and I just need time to process.
Well, it's not like you hermitize and keep everybody else out.
Right. Now, you told me earlier that I go
But
inside myself,
you do.
even in a group, and I see that, but I'm not convinced that I shouldn't do that. Maybe you're going to tell me different, but that works for me,
It does work for you.
And I don't see any harm coming from that, do you?
When you're avoiding the feelings,
okay.
sometimes
Do you
you
think I
will.
avoid
Sometimes
feelings?
you will crawl in your head to avoid feelings.
Okay, but I deal with them later, right?
Sometimes, if you're poked and prodded enough. Seriously,
feelings
left alone, wouldn't you just rather stay in your head than experience it?
I don't know if I'm totally alone. No, I think I experience it when I'm alone. And I let certain people in on occasion.
On occasion, if you have to.
If I have to. I'm getting better. I'm getting better.
It's
And I don't
difficult.
feel like I stuff any of it for any great length of time. Now, I did. I will agree. I did in the past. But I think I've dealt with all that, or at least all that I remember. And I think I've gotten that out. And I don't think I hide as much as I maybe did before. But even so, I still don't think it takes me as long to process some of that
it
stuff as
doesn't.
it does other
doesn't.
people. And I'm not as sensitive. I'm just not a sensitive person when it comes to things like that.
Yeah.
So I hate drama.
Mm-hmm.
Hate it. And that's one reason I don't like to be around a lot of other people, is because there's so much drama. I just don't have time for drama.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I'm getting better.
You are.
And I think I deal with my emotions now.
Mm-hmm. You're doing a whole lot better with that.
I don't mind crying in front of people as much as I used to. But I was raised where you don't cry.
Yeah.
You just don't cry.
Yeah.
If you cry, you better not let anybody see you do it. Because either they're going to be mad or sad or bug the snot out of you because they don't know what's wrong with you.
Yeah.
So you just don't let anybody see you.
Yeah.
So it's been a new thing for me to cry in front of my kids, or in front of you, or in front of anybody.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I'm better.
Oh, much.
So what about you?
I am more outgoing than you are.
Oh yeah.
I
Most
still
people are.
enjoy. I have a nice mix. I can be alone and be fine alone. I enjoy my own company. I can be alone in a group of people. But at the same time, I can be outgoing too. I consider myself a really good mix between the two. I can be introverted, but I can be extroverted too. Now, when I get hurt, I'll hermitize big time, big time. But I think I have made strides in that. Even last night, I was missing my son. and did just want to crawl up in a ball and be alone, you know, and was still feeling some of that this morning. And a friend called and said she was on her way over, and I was so tempted to say, no, I'm just not in the mood. And I knew better. You know, it does help having someone else around to help you break that cycle. And I think that is what she's trying to get at, you know.
Right. But even then, you weren't pushing everybody else away.
No,
Kids.
I wasn't.
Yeah. I mean, you weren't just a ball of fun, but you weren't hiding.
Right. No, I wasn't doing that either. So I have improved a lot.
Oh, yeah.
I have improved a lot. I still have work to do.
Well, we all do, and we always will, I'm sure. Once
But
we get
the
this
whole
figured out, something
point,
new will
yeah,
come.
the whole point is to have someone else that you can reach out to help break that cycle,
Right.
whatever that cycle is, whether it's sadness or anger or, you know, whatever the emotion
Right.
is.
Now, I do agree that when we're feeling those things, then it helps to help someone else.
Mm-hmm.
And I've seen that. I've seen you
Mhm.
do that. You'll be just in a horrible state, and somebody needs your help, and you start helping them, and before you know it, you don't even remember you're in a
Yeah.
horrible state.
Yeah.
I've seen you do that. And I'm
Yeah.
sure I do too, but
Yeah,
it's harder for me to see myself. But I've seen you do that several times.
yeah. Oh, it absolutely does. You know, it's nothing will get me out of one of those moods quicker than someone else coming to me where I feel like their need is greater.
Mhm.
Then I can get out of my own and help
Mhm.
you know, deal with yours. And
Right. And I think for both of us, making these videos is one of the ways for us to reach out
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
help others, or at least not hermitize.
All right,
in
right.
this. And
Well,
share our
we're
good,
literally
bad,
putting it
ugly.
out here, you know. Yeah, we have to cut some of the videos for, you know, coughs and sneezes and dog barks and that kind of thing. But for the most part, you're getting it uncut
Mhm.
as we sit here
I
and
don't
discuss
cut a lot
it.
out
So,
unless we're in a time crunch on it.
you know, and I have made extras to just go on and explain my emotional state, which,
Mhm.
you know, is sometimes, you know, I have to think about it for a little while, you know, as to whether or not I want that to go out. But we learn when we open ourselves up to each other and become vulnerable. And until we learn how to become vulnerable with someone else, we can't get to our own vulnerability.
Right.
So I can't crawl into my deepest corners until I allow myself to open. And that's in all ways.
Mm.
That's outwardly too.
Yeah.
So I have learned I've got to be willing to be vulnerable before I can explore my vulnerabilities.
Mm-hmm. I agree. I also think that this chapter reinforces that we need support on this journey. And Pat and I were talking when we were there that about a lot of this seems so negative, but it's leading to the more positive.
Right.
And
You have to swim through the lake of negative that you're in order to get to a drier
the
shore.
other side.
Yeah.
And then,
Yeah.
but for me, I have to keep reminding myself too that, you know, I've been working on the weight stuff for years, and it's working. It's not working nearly as fast as I'd like, but I've been doing this for a long time.
Well, you've been putting it on and taking it off for years.
For years, and you know, trying to find that right combination. But there are a lot of people out there who have not been working on it for years. There are a lot of people out there who have a bigger problem with weight than I do,
Right.
and who have more addictive behaviors than I do.
Right.
Or there's different degrees, I guess is what I'm trying to
Yes.
say. There are
Yes.
some of us who still have struggle with weight, but our struggle is not nearly as bad as other people's.
Right.
And I have to keep reminding myself that this book was written for all of us.
Right. Right.
And that even the people who have heavy, heavy addictions to food need this too. And so some of the stuff that I think is not,
Doesn't necessarily speak to you.
doesn't speak to me or is a little ridiculous in my mind, it may not be for those people.
Right.
And so I apologize if I've offended anyone by saying this is just stupid and silly. Because it may not be for somebody who is in a different place than I am. I don't want to be judgmental, and I feel like I have been. But I have to keep reminding myself that some of this is going to work and some of it's not.
Well, but
And I take
think
what
you
it
will.
does and leave the rest.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was going to get ready to say. I think anything that you delve into, any book that you pick up and study, some of it is going to speak to you, and some of it isn't. And if you can't get past the part that doesn't, then you're not going to get the full
Right.
lesson that you need out of it.
Right.
You know, we literally have to take with us what speaks to us and just let the rest lie.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
if you're going to get the full benefit.
So for on this one, I thought, well, yeah, I am isolated to an extent because I am, but it works for me, and I enjoy my isolation. It's
But
not
according
to
to,
hide.
but from years ago, you were way isolated years ago
yeah.
compared to where you are
I'm an
now.
outgoing person compared.
Compared to literally, you
Yeah.
really are.
Yeah.
I mean, you went from years and years on a 300-acre farm with 3 small children by yourself to
To where I am today.
you hang out with me. That's
To
a
making
big
videos
cry.
for everybody
To making videos, yeah. I mean, you've really made leaps and bounds. I don't know that you see that sometimes, but you really have.
So what, you didn't talk much about you. You let me talk the whole time.
Well, she's something with that. I make extra videos about me. It's about time you spoke up a little.
Yeah, but
Well, what else
do you isolate more?
Well, no, I would say more. I still isolate. It is still my. I still find it in my subconscious because it's my go-to thing first.
Do you
when
feel
I
like
get
you
hurt.
want to change that? I guess that's what I'm saying. Do you feel like the isolation is a bad thing and you need to change it?
I think I need to change aspects of it.
Okay.
There are still parts of the isolation that I need in order to first look at the problem and identify what it is. I can't do that if I'm distracted by a bunch of things. Do you know what I'm saying? So I need the isolation in order to look at it.
Right.
And then I need a little bit of time to experience whatever it is. Now, sometimes I invite others into that, and sometimes I just need to experience it myself.
Right.
I think what I want to change is maybe the length of time I'm there, or like we were talking about, breaking the cycle. There are some times when I think it goes way too long, but I don't know in the moment how else to break it.
Well, and I'm just saying that, and I don't mean this in a bad way, but when you get in those moods, for lack of a better word, I don't know what to do, so I prefer to let you isolate because I don't want to get in the way of your processing. I don't want to become annoying, say what's wrong. I don't want to try to fix it for you because I want you to experience what you need to experience now that we've studied this. So it works better for me to just say, okay, I'm out here if you need me, but otherwise leave you alone. Let you cocoon and do whatever you got to do.
Well,
So
and
that's why I'm asking, do I need to do something different when you're in those?
If you do, I'll let you know. But the problem being, when I'm in that, I don't know what to tell you to do. Do you see what I'm saying?
Exactly.
I
I know
don't
that.
know what I need in the moment. So
And
it's
same for me.
hard for me to say, well, if you would just, sit with you, or if you would just talk about something, or when I know, I tell you, but majority of the time, I don't know what it is. So I believe some isolation is healthy so that I can work through it. And then I believe there's a point when it becomes unhealthy, and I think that's when you're continuing a cycle.
I agree with that.
When I gave my son the okay to go, that was hard, and that took me a little while to come out of it. But I don't think a couple of days was a long period of time compared to what that was.
Right.
Now, had I, let's say,
For a month.
right. I mean, there's a point when it becomes ridiculous.
Yeah.
And I think even as outside people looking in to, let's say, somebody that we want to help, we can see when it gets ridiculous.
Right. I'm thinking right now that movie we watched, P.S. I Love You, where her husband dies and she's months later, they can't get her to answer the phone, they can't find her. That kind of isolation is definitely not good.
Yeah.
But,
well, you and I both have a friend who went through the same process. And it has taken probably on upwards of a year to get through it, but she didn't completely isolate. And that is it in a nutshell. As long as we're touching base, every couple of days, and I know you're okay and that kind of thing, then, there's something to be said about honoring the time it takes, and it's different for every person.
Right.
But I think the processing needs to equate what's happened.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Good stuff.
that's good stuff.
Yeah.
Shreen.